Hey everyone, it's Shantae Moore, certified financial educator, and I am back with another video for you today called 5 things that you can do right now at the end of the year to make sure that your finances are on track. I wanted to talk about this because we're coming up on the end of the year, and what do we do at the end of the year or in the beginning of the year? We make New Year's resolutions, right? And I know most people, one of the first things that they want to work on or improve, if it's not their health, it's their wealth. So if you have some financial goals that you really want to tackle and accomplish in 2020, then this video is for you. So I wanted to give you 5 things to start working on right now in early December. I'm recording this video on Cyber Monday. This is actually, in my opinion, the best time to start working on your plan for next year's financial goals in 2020. You really don't want to wait until January 1st to start trying to attack these things, because you're really putting yourself behind. You want to start looking at your numbers, knowing what you need to do, knowing what your goals are, so that come January 1st, you're ready to go. You have everything in place. You know exactly what you're going to start working on from day one. So the first thing that I would do if I were you is, number one, check all the beneficiaries on all of your financial accounts and all of your policies. I will post a link to a video that I did just talking about the importance of making sure you have proper beneficiaries on your accounts. But I would just say, do a quick review. Make sure that the people that are listed as your beneficiaries are those people that you are comfortable with, making sure that if something happened to you, they would get that money, they would get that asset, they would get that property, whatever it is. I'll post a link to that video, like I said. Review your will or your trust. Again, just make sure that your wishes are up to date, because some people will say, oh, Shantae, I have a will, I have a trust, but they don't update it. Like, you should be checking out that thing at least once every couple years. You don't really have to do it every single year. But I mean, if people have been married or people have passed away, or if there's new kids being born, you definitely want to, update those documents. The third thing that I want to talk about, and this is probably where I spend most of my time, is really knowing your budget, knowing your goals, and knowing your numbers for 2020. So let's think about our goals. If your goal in 2020 is to pay down some debt, first of all, we need to know, where are we starting at? How much debt do we have? How much interest are we paying? I use a method called the snowball method, which is, I find, an extremely fast way to pay off debt, which you can use by paying off the highest interest rate, debt first, or the smallest balance debt first. And just either way, whichever method you use, it will snowball until you're able to pay off all of your debt much, much, much quicker and sooner. If you're interested in learning more about that, definitely connect with me. What comes along with that is also knowing that, again, if you have a financial goal, let's say your goal is to save, $5,000 by the end of the year. Think about, how much money, starting in January 2020, do I want to commit to on a month-to-month basis, or week to week, however you want to do it, basis, so that you can start accumulating toward that $5,000 goal. Whatever it is, just make sure it's something that you are able to consistently do over time. You don't want to create this huge goal and then just fall off the bandwagon because you set your month-to-month amount way too big. I've had that happen to me with clients, because one of the questions that I'll ask them is, Mr. and Mrs. Client, I'll do analysis with them. And one of the questions that I'll ask is, in these goals and dreams that you wrote down here, how much money are you willing to set aside so that I can help you reach those goals? And they'll say, oh, we could save, $2,000 a month. And then I'll give them a $2,000 proposal. So, because I know, okay, I can definitely help you with those goals. And then they review the proposal and they're like, oh, I don't know, maybe we could only really do $200 a month. Now I'm like, see, that's a different proposal. So just be realistic with whatever it is. I'm not here to judge anyone. If you can only save $5 a week, do it. I don't care, as long as you are consistent, that you can do it consistently. The fourth thing that I want to talk about is, once you pull out all those statements, really evaluate to determine 2 things. Number one, how much interest have you earned over the year on your money? And then the other number I want you to look at is, how much interest have you paid? If you have debt, how much interest have you paid in 2019? Why am I looking at interest rates and rates of return? Because one number tells me how much my money is growing, and then another number tells me how much money I'm actually losing. And you can understand these concepts if you Google. Actually, I'll post a link to the rule of 72. You really want to understand how your money can grow by compounding interest, or how you could actually lose money by compounding interest on your debt. If you have your money set aside and investing somewhere, you want to know, what rate of return am I growing? Have I earned on this money? Because we might need to make some changes. If you haven't been earning much or little to nothing, maybe because you just have your money sitting in a bank and you don't know where else to put it, you should know that. The fifth thing that I want to just talk about real quickly is, don't try to do this stuff on your own. Work with a licensed financial professional. I can't stress how many times I always suggest to people, look, I might be a little biased just because this is what I do for a living, right? But let's just think about this, logically for a second. If I'm trying to get healthy because I'm sick and I know that I need to, better my health, who do I go to? I go to a doctor, right? That doctor has medical degrees. They've gone to school. They have hundreds and thousands of patients, whatever it is. And I can trust them. Hopefully I can trust them to help me improve my health. What if I'm just trying to lose some weight, eat better, get more in shape and get more fit? Who would I go to? I would go to a personal trainer or a dietitian, right? These people have studied, foods and different things that it can do to your body, and, the anatomy of the body and how to work it out and things of that nature. So when it comes to our money, who should we go to? A licensed financial professional. I highly recommend you work with a fiduciary. If your finances have not really improved from 2017 to 2018, to 20, like if you're kind of like in the same boat financially, this is probably when you want to talk to someone like me who can take you from here to here. Ask for referrals from friends and family or coworkers. Are they working with financial professionals? Ask them, hey, can I be introduced to your financial advisor? Or maybe your network doesn't know anyone. I would actually look on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is kind of like, your professional resume, right? You'll be able to see, what company somebody's worked with. They should be listing out their, licenses so that you can determine, okay, they seem to be pretty educated. And I'll post a video that I recorded about how to find a financial professional to work with. One big myth is that everyone thinks that financial advisors charge money. Some, I would say majority do, but some don't. And you could find someone who'll be willing to help you. I know that when I have a client and they fill out, this financial strategy worksheet, it's like 4 pages, but it basically gives me a quick financial snapshot of what they are currently dealing with. Right away, I can put together a proposal for them and say, what, if you do this, if you do that, if you do this, you'll hit your goals. And I'll be able to hold you accountable. And another thing about working with a professional is that we have access to way more financial accounts and investments and everything that way more things that you could do versus finding it on your own. I know we live in a world of Google University and YouTube, everything, but that's as my job as a licensed financial professional is that I get access to a whole wide world full of financial accounts and strategies and things that you as a consumer, you might only get access to these few things on the Google, because financial institutions, they only allow, how do I say this? When you want to make some real money, they only give those great products and strategies to financial advisors to work with for their clients. They don't give it to just the average consumer. Take it or leave it. If that resonates, that's on you. I'm just telling you the truth. But I don't want to make this video too long. If you want to connect with me, all my contact information will be in the description box below. I am wishing you a healthy and prosperous 2020. And until next time, I will talk to you guys later.